There is mounting pressure on Phoenix Suns owner Robert Sarver to essentially resign or sell his team in the wake of an NBA investigation that found he used racial slurs, sexist language, engaged in bullying behavior, and fostered, in short, a hostile work environment. The team's vice chairman, John Najafi, released a statement himself late yesterday calling for Sarver to resign from his ownership of the team. And today, a key sponsor, PayPal, which is the logo sponsor sewn in under the Suns jerseys, they don't plan to renew their sponsorship if the team is still owned by Sarver when the season begins. The NBA has suspended Sarver for 1 year and fined him $10 million, but the league is facing scrutiny for not making the penalty harsher. Joined now by the Reverend Al Sharpton. He's, of course, president of the National Action Network, host of Politics Nation on MSNBC, and he's among those calling for Robert Sarver, the owner of the Phoenix Suns, to be removed. Rev, here's the head scratcher to me on this decision by the NBA is they came out with the exact, if you had told me they're going to have the exact same punishment for an owner that the NFL came out for Dan Snyder and the Washington football team for arguably very, in some ways, similar culture issues, I just said, that's not Adam Silver. He's not going to do that. And given the reaction of the players, did he whiff on this?
I do. I think he did. And I've had a pretty decent relationship with Adam Silver, but I was surprised that he would come with such a soft and in my opinion, less than adequate decision. Here's a man who categorically used the N-word, categorically dealt in misogynist exchanges with people in the team. So are we saying now that just giving him a pat on the hand, a slap of the wrist, and you can pay your way with $10 million for the right to engage in that kind of behavior, even when he was told he shouldn't use that? I think that it's normalizing racism and misogyny, and it should not be allowed in the culture.
What's the difference between Donald Sterling and Robert Sarver in your mind?
I think the difference is that with Donald Sterling, people rose up more indignant. And I think that though we were out there in National Action Network, a lot of people didn't believe it was necessary because they felt Adam Silver would do what he did with Don Sterling. Now you're seeing a lot of people, after it was brought out, from LeBron James across the board coming out. I wish they'd come out when we did months ago. You know, the Suns are very well connected inside the NBA. The former owner, Jerry Colangelo, big with USA Basketball, also in Phoenix. Do you think that had something to do with it? I think that that did have something to do with it. And I think that they, first of all, this investigation took forever. And I think there was a lot of inside play based on their having a lot of juice there. But I think the backlash they're getting, they did not think that players would come out. We're seeing today PayPal is saying that they will not renew their contract. And we're going to put a lot of pressure on everyone else. We're also looking into the fact that there were public funds used for the Suns to build their stadium. And we will probably be entering into the courts to deal with that with some taxpayers there in Arizona. What would you like to see Chris Paul and Devin Booker, two very prominent members of the Phoenix Suns, big followings, Chris Paul, well-respected inside the league. What would you like to see the two of them do? I'd like to see them take a stand and say that they do not feel that it is fair that they are being forced to play for someone that would use such racist and misogynist terms and behavior, and that the association ought to be protecting them from having to work for someone like that, not putting them in a position where if they violate their contract, they could be sued by somebody that can call them any name, racist or misogynist, that he wants. You've had to push the leagues, multiple leagues, quite a bit. Look, the owners run these leagues, and isn't that what we just learned with the NBA? I think Adam Silver probably would like to have done more, but he's not in charge. And I think that that is probably the tragedy. I think we've got to look at the fact that should we allow owners to have that kind of grip on the league and use public funds in order to do it? I think what people don't understand is that they go and use public dollars, taxpayer dollars, to build these stadiums and to get all kinds of tax abatement. So they can't act like, well, this is my domain. What does the public have to do with it? When the public is financing their stadiums, the public is making adjustments for them for everything from security with policing across the board. You can't go to the public and ask for certain things and then at the end of the day, tell the public I'm going to live by my own rules.
No, look, if you choose to be a sports owner, you have chose to be a member of a civic community, and you've chosen to be a custodian for how that community acts and behaves. This is not a private business. Anyway, Reverend Sharpton, we're both busy. I know we're both up against it. Always a pleasure to get your perspective on these things. Thank you.
Always good to talk with you, Chip.
Thank you, Rev.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.